This is the emergency meeting for the 16th of March to 2020. If we can all stand for the pledge to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
which stands one nation under God, indivisible, for all.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, may I have a roll call, please? Do I have the agenda?
Ms. DiGiovanni.
Present.
Ms.
Diafari.
Ms. Manalo.
Present.
Dr. Rod.
Here.
Mr. Buenaventura.
Present.
Mr. Sylvester.
Present. Okay, all council members are present. Thank you, Madam City Attorney. All right, the first item on tonight's agenda is the declaration of local emergency by the City and Council of the City of Daly City and authorization of paid time off to all city employees. And I'll turn it over to staff. Ms. Mulvey, our city manager.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the public. As everyone knows, government is looking a little bit different right now than it did maybe just a few days ago, and so we appreciate your patience as all of the cities gather together, all the city managers work with the county to work through this pandemic. We have a plan. The plan right now is to not panic, but as you can see, I'm up here with the mayor, which is not a normal thing, and so we just appreciate everyone sort of being fluid through this process. Couple of housekeeping items. One, we were unable to, due to, unfortunately, network issues that started a few weeks ago, get this streamed the way we normally want to. However, we have advertised in the last few days that if people did want to avoid coming in, they could provide comment via email, drop off letters at a kiosk in front of City Hall to provide public comment. And my assistant, Stephen Stolte, is going to be reading any public comment that we did get and that we may be getting in the interim, because we are encouraging people to submit comment via email during the meeting. So as you may have heard, the county, actually 7 counties have declared shelter in place, and the Daly City, of course, is following that. Prior to that announcement and order, the City Council was already determined to file and declare a state of emergency here in Daly City for a lot of different reasons. So I'm going to go ahead, unless the mayor wanted to add anything to my introduction on this, and just walk through this resolution, why we're doing it, and what it does for the city in order to do that.
Please.
Okay, all right. At some point after this resolution, I will also have my assistant read out the most recent press release that will also talk about not only this order, but also how this is going to impact Daly City operations. So stick around for that after this resolution. So it is recommended that the City Council adopt a resolution declaring the existence of a local emergency regarding COVID-19 and its threat, and also in doing that, authorizing paid time off to all city employees. Our community is our priority, but in order for us to make our community a priority, we need to make our city employees a priority, which means we need to make them feel safe and healthy and not have them worry about things like, I don't have any leave accruals, how am I going to pay my bills? And so it's not necessarily essential for a city manager to seek approval to do this kind of a thing from council, but I am doing this just to assure our employees that they do come first and their safety comes first, and the council, mayor, vice mayor, all the council members support me wholeheartedly in that. So without belaboring the exact modes of transmission, I think we have seen all of that on the news, how we got here. But basically, as part of the local emergency, the city will be, of course, following San Mateo County health guidelines and taking steps to scale back city operations. The city is aware that certain employees may be impacted by the reduction of services, as well as potential health concerns that require people to take time off work. So staff is recommending that each city employee be provided paid time off in the amount of 120 hours, which they can use as necessary to offset any potential negative effects associated with limited operations. To get into the nitty-gritty here, it has no cash value, it has an expiration date, but basically, we want employees to stay home and feel like they're not going to, like they're going to be made whole when they stay home. The city manager is also asking that the council support that if those 120 hours need to be increased, that I could do that at my discretion without having to go back to council. The fiscal impact of this declaration is really that the city may be able to receive mutual aid. That's one of the reasons why cities do declare a state of emergency, so that the city can receive mutual aid resources from the state of California to assist in response to and in containment of COVID-19. So if granted, the city of Daly City could be eligible for cost recovery funds related to the local emergency. In summary, the City Council needs to consider by a 4/5 vote adoption of the resolution that's attached, declaring the existence of a local emergency caused by COVID-19 and authorizing paid time off for city employees, and I'm certainly available to provide any additional information desired by Mayor or the council members.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Maltby. Do I have any comments from any of my colleagues?
Through the mayor.
I move
Yes.
to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Okay,
Through
so,
the mayor.
yes, Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Yeah, I apologize. It's a little scratchy over here, so I apologize if I interrupted someone. Chuck, may I ask a question?
Of course.
Okay, thank you. The question is this, in this particular resolution, is this what we include or is that in something else? Like, waivers of late fees and anything to do with the rental evictions of commercial, residential, in that sort? Would it be in here?
I'm going to defer to the city attorney, who has been working with the other city attorneys in the county on this matter.
So this, thank you, Madam City Manager.
I barely hear you.
Okay, so the declaration of the existence of the local emergency is for purposes of a declaration. The declaration does not include a moratorium with respect to evictions, but I am in contact with all of the cities in San Mateo County. In fact, we do have a follow-up call tomorrow with all of the county council as well as the city attorneys as to the direction that the county will be taking. My understanding is that the governor does have a bill in place that will include potentially a stop on evictions for the state of California. But we will be updating the council that further developments on any moratorium with regards to evictions.
Okay, so that's separate, Rose. I'm sorry, it's a little scratchy over here. I apologize.
So that's separate, she's asking.
Yes, that would be a separate action of the council. That is correct.
Okay, thank you. I apologize again to everybody. That was a little scratchy. So, and then the other quick question would be, in the language, would it include that, or is it necessary, like Redwood City has, where due to the declaration that we'll suspend the Brown Act, so that we can communicate via meeting and so forth? Would this be a part of that?
So essentially, the governor has issued an executive order, Executive 11, which expressly states that there are aspects of the Brown Act that are relaxed at this point. The local emergency does not, the declaration of a local emergency does not require us to have to relax the Brown Act. We will maintain its consistency with the executive order of the governor.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Attorney. I appreciate your clarification, and also then we can talk about the federal borrow money at some point. Thank you very much, Mayor.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to add that I received information regarding, to concur with Madam City Attorney about the governor working on the provisions of the moratorium for evictions. And it's my understanding, since that was not made part of the declaration of emergency, that would have to be another item that's agendized at another council meeting.
That's correct.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Does any of my other colleagues have any questions? Okay, there's a motion on the floor.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I know that there is public comment that was submitted by email, and I believe maybe even some questions through YouTube. So if we can read that in the record prior to the vote, that would be great.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I do have a card up here at this time, and I would like to open up to the public hearing at this time. Mr. High, you said you're also getting questions via YouTube?
There are no questions at this time from YouTube. Thank you.
Okay, well, we do have one card, so we'll open it up to the public. Mr. Charles Hill, come on up, sir, and I believe the mic is active right here at the lectern.
I can't sanitize the mic. It's a joke.
Oh, okay.
Honorable Mayor, which one is the mic?
They're both working.
Okay.
Just
Thank you,
speak.
City Council people. I'm a local business owner, Top of the Hill Clean Laundromat, and the state of events that have happened today kind of sent a lot of my customers, and I have 6 to 7 employees in fear, and I'm just trying to get some clarification so I know how to communicate to the public. We run a laundromat, and the services we provide obviously touch a variety of the community, particularly low to moderate income people that are going to be impacted. We were told that we might have to close because we were not considered an essential business. Wanted to kind of verify that. And then I also just wanted to ask the council, has there been any consideration for deferment of utility billing payments? I've seen a downturn in sales and revenue as a result of this. The fear, lack of traffic, slower traffic. So just has there been any consideration of how small businesses that employ people from the community will be naturally impacted, and what consideration has been given to kind of help us during these times? I know everyone, employees work for corporations in addition to city employees, but also small business owners that are usually heavily impacted because, we operate on a very thin budget in terms of making things work. So those are my comments.
All right, I guess we have some time, Mr. Hill. Normally, we just take the questions and we look into it.
Yes.
But why don't you just stand there, and I'm going to provide, I'm sure my other council members or the city manager or the city attorney can chime in on some of those questions.
Okay.
I'm going to read off later on. The County of San Mateo goes through a call every day, whereas the elected officials chime in and the county manager puts out information as to the current situation. And based upon your question, one of the questions is, what is classified as an essential business?
That's correct.
Okay? And I'm going to matter of fact, I'm going to read this off later. But as I look down the list, laundromats and laundry service providers, you are considered an essential business.
I concur.
And folks, and as such, even though there's a stay-at-home order, folks who have to attend to essential business, as going to the grocery store, going to the laundromat, they should do so. So you qualify there. I don't have any resources on PG&E. Does anybody know, Madam City Attorney or City Manager, as to power?
We are each hour getting more information from the county and from the state and from the feds on how they might help us waive those types of bills or delay those types of bills. Right now, unfortunately, there's nothing in place to do so, but it's something we're definitely working on. And I think every one of the council members today did reach out to me with regard to small businesses in particular and how to keep you afloat as best we can. So it's definitely on our radar.
Now, the San Mateo Daly City Utility Building water and the like, obviously garbage and things need to be continue to be paid, but is there any consideration, because I know we're coming into another month, and probably not just me, I'm sure other businesses are being impacted by this, and has any consideration been given to, is that going to be deferred, or is it going to be business as usual, or you're still considering what the right option to be?
Great questions, and still very much considering what we might do.
Okay.
But I appreciate the question.
Appreciate it. Should I go online and just sort of monitor and see if there's any information that's provided over the next couple of days and week?
Absolutely. DalyCity.org is a great website. Also, we have a Facebook page, Nextdoor, Instagram, but probably just DalyCity.org is the best bet for our current actions, yeah.
All right, thank you.
And that leads me maybe to Stephen, after the vote, talking about the most recent press release.
Okay,
More
so,
questions, thank you.
thank you, Mr. Hill. Stand by for a little bit because we want to make sure we get your information as well.
Okay.
Oh, matter of fact, I have his card.
We're good, yeah.
Yeah. All right, you didn't leave, okay, you just have your name and your address. Okay. All right, thank you so much. There are no, Stephen.
So I do have 8, 9, 10, I have 11 emails with public comment. 2 about rent / evictions, 8 about street sweeping mostly, and 1 about parks. So I don't know at what point.
Okay, great.
Maybe now? Let's take it now.
Right. Stephen, please grab a mic so that we can get you on record and we'll hear these comments.
I'm just going to go in the order they were received. Okay. The first one is, the subject is preschools. It says, "Hello, City Council members. I understand you have a meeting set for this evening. I would like to place a few things on the minds of you all as you meet this evening. Number 1, preschool licensed facilities are still open to provide the staff with work, continued financial support, and provide parents child care services. Number 2, we don't have resources to pay our staff, lose out on tuition payments, and be financially stable to reopen. Number 3, we need reassurance that we have resources, monetary and educational informational assistance to keep our staff and families safe. And finally, there is already a shortage of preschool slots available in our city. If we don't enact protection for our programs, there will be a secondary crisis of preschool closures. I appreciate your time in reading the above concerns for our program and others in Daly City and beyond. I am always open to help in any way possible, committees or otherwise, to figure this out. This was submitted by Nicole Feldman of Latchkey Alternative Center."
Thank you, Stephen.
Okay, the next one, and there's a bunch related to street cleaning, but the first is from someone named Pilar. It says, "Hello, with the lockdown being in effect tomorrow, most of the residents will be at home and the parking will also be hard. Will you postpone the street cleaning rules for the next 3 weeks? Please advise the residents through local news. Thank you for your concern." Another one, "Since it was already announced that there will be shelter-in-place ordinance starting at 12 midnight tonight, will street cleaning restrictions still be enforced?" That's from Renee Gilroy. Okay, another is on emergency ban on evictions during the COVID-19 outbreak. This is from Lorena Melgarejo, Executive Director of Faith in Action Bay Area. It says, "Dear Mayor Glenn Sylvester, now that residents of all 6 Bay Area counties must comply with the shelter-in-place order starting Tuesday, March 17th, it is imperative that the city pass an emergency moratorium for residential and business evictions immediately. Our community is already experiencing the harsh effects of loss of work and wages. Many families have already lost significant income due to coronavirus and are struggling to make their full rent payments. To allow evictions due to non-payment of rent during this time will cause widespread, irreparable damage to our communities and their health. Compassion and common sense demand that we take action now to protect our most vulnerable families. We are asking that the city establish a moratorium on evictions, protect tenants in all residential units from eviction during the coronavirus state of emergency, including units not under rent control and student dorms. Also, to ban evictions for non-payment if failure to pay is due to the following local health guidance: self-quarantine, illness or the illness of a family member, or loss of income related to COVID-19. And finally, provide for delayed rent collection after the end of the state of emergency with no late fees. And then they also attached a letter and petition urging the city to establish the emergency moratorium on evictions signed by 170 residents of San Mateo County. Okay, the next one is related to street cleaning again. Hi, I am reaching out to get information regarding street cleaning. I read your council meeting packet for later today, but it does not mention anything about street cleaning. The mayor ordered shelter in place. How is this going to affect street cleaning schedules? If we are to stay at home, then we are expecting all parking spots and street parking to be occupied. Are you going to suspend ticketing for cars for street cleaning? Where are we supposed to park if we are to vacate one side of the street for the street cleaner? Please let us know. Thank you. That's from Christine Modena of Daly City. The other one, another similar comment. The PTO for employees is a fantastic thing. I hope you guys approve, given the fact that there is now a shelter in place for the next 3 weeks. They might need more if this gets extended. And then the second part is, do we really need street cleaning during this? I know the city needs the money, but I suggest we have elevated parking enforcement availability 24/7 for people who need help with their driveways blocked, traffic control for accidents, etc. instead. Do we really want people coming out of their homes to move their cars and risk interacting with ill individuals? I think the parking officers can be better utilized for public safety instead. That is from someone named Sean. Another says, hello, in light of the shelter-in-place order due to the coronavirus and residents not leaving their homes, will the street parking restrictions be lifted to accommodate people staying at home all day? Thank you. This one is related to parks. The title is Closure of Foot Traffic into Westlake Park from West Park Drive. Please do not close foot traffic from our neighborhood into the park. The park provides an invaluable resource for us to walk our dogs, and most of us have no need to use any facilities inside the park, so I do not understand the logic behind the closure. Respectfully, Sally Costello. And we have 3 more comments. The next one is an issue for meeting, street cleaning tickets. Hello, for tonight's meeting, I want to confirm that there will be no street cleaning tickets during the quarantine. Otherwise, you are going to force residents sheltering in their home to go outside and move their cars across the street twice a week. This is going to cause fights with neighbors as we move cars in front of their houses. Please issue a notice on the Daly City website that street cleaning enforcement and 72-hour street parking time enforcement is eliminated during the quarantine. Thank you. And then the next one says, the title is Urging a City Freeze Rent Due to COVID-19. Hello, I am writing as a city resident to strongly urge the City Council to freeze rent in Daly City. It's not only a moral imperative to prevent mass homelessness at this time, but it's also a public health imperative. Unless action is taken immediately, an increase in evictions and foreclosures alone will affect our entire community's ability to maintain good hygiene and take basic measures, the same measures we have been advised by City Council to take in order to protect ourselves and our communities. Our neighbors in San Francisco, as well as city councils of Seattle, Los Angeles, Boston, and the states of New York, Massachusetts, and Kentucky have already implemented a rent freeze. It is of vital importance that we follow their lead, please. This is from Jade San Gabriel. And then finally, our last public comment, the title is Parking and Street Sweeping During Shelter in Place. Hello, as a resident affected by the shelter in place, will Daly City suspend street sweeping during this period? Sincerely, Betty. And that's all the public comment.
All right, thank you so much, Stephen. Hearing we don't have any other comments at this time, and we've addressed the Mr. Hill who appeared before us earlier. I'm going to close public comment at this time. Do I need to take a vote on that? No? Thank you, Madam City Attorney. All right, colleagues, you've all heard the comments. Madam City Attorney? City Clerk, did you have a comment?
No. I just heard motions already.
Yeah, we do have a motion on the floor. It has been second, and final deliberation and comments from my colleagues. Are there any at this time? Okay, hearing none. I can give at least one comment as we go into deliberation, but we have none. But on the issue of street cleaning, I was advised, and the city manager did put this out to all of council for the public to know, street cleaning has been suspended citywide. However, nothing that I've heard about the 72-hour abandoning of, basically the abandoned vehicle law. Now, it is my thought that folks are at home, that is correct, but 3 days to move your vehicle, you should at least move your vehicle. So I think we would need further discussion on that if we want to relax that. But 72 hours, and when you call our police department, it'll take more than 72 hours to get that taken care of. May even take as long as a week. So I think 72 hours is sufficient time for a vehicle to at least be moved. In absence of the street cleaning, because generally you have to move it to a different side of the street, then move it back, but that should be more parking. So it's just my thought. All right. Any other further comments from my colleagues?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Vice Mayor Jocelyn Manalo.
I just want to say I want to commend the staff and your leadership, Mayor. This is really times that are uncertain for many, but you know what, with the leadership and at the helm and our city manager, we're working through this together and really hoping, everyone continues to stay healthy, following what is needed for our communities at this time. So I just wanted to say thank you to you both.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. And actually, it's a collaboration of all of us working together. And I agree and concur with you that staff and city staff of Daly City has been very, very responsive. They've worked late evenings, late hours, and they do their best to maintain full and complete transparency. So I concur with you, Vice Mayor, and I would like to thank the staff and the city and my colleagues as well. Thank you so much. All right.
Mr. Mayor, may I make a comment, please?
Sure.
I also want to thank my colleagues as well, and of course the city manager, city attorney, Steve, and everybody. But I cannot agree more with the vice mayor that these have been a group effort, and that when times get tough and there's a crisis, this is proven that we all come together and for the people that we serve and love. So I want to thank all of you. It's an honor to serve.
Thank you very much, Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Mr. Mayor, can I also say something as well?
Dr. Rod Dasmagbawali, yes, sir.
Yes. I just want to commend Shauna and the whole staff for putting this thing together, and my fellow colleagues on the dais. So I say thank you, but I also want to say something to the public. There's been backlash against a lot of Asian Americans out there, and we want to be able to know that it's that we don't stand for that type of racism and hate in our community, and that what we need right now is compassion, love, support, and community to get through all this. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you very much, Council Member.
Thank you.
I have a question for the city attorney. It just came to my mind. When we designate state of emergency with the possibility of getting funds from the state on cost recovery, to my understanding, all bets are off the table. What I mean is, we can ask for things, but we may not necessarily get it.
That is correct. Declare a state of emergency, and
Okay.
we
It's not
ask.
law.
That's the law, yes. We ask for what we can get.
We ask for what we can get. Okay, well, that's a perfect segue. Madam City Manager, I'd like to request the following. Number one, that all retail stores within Daly City is sent a note that perhaps, if possible, they should designate either early in the morning, 1 hour prior to opening, that they gear that towards our most vulnerable, and that is the seniors. So shopping for seniors only for the first hour. We can ask, and if we don't get it, it's okay, but at least we put it out there. And in that same letter, if we can have our retail establishment limit the purchase of specific items like toilet paper, hand sanitizer. I mean, we can ask. I mean, but I think that would be a good ploy for our city under this state of emergency. Okay?
Would you like me to respond to that?
Oh, yes, yes, Madam City.
So I think we're on the same page, and the city attorney is looking at me like it's not enforceable, but we certainly can ask businesses to be humane during this time, and I've already talked with the finance department and looking through our business database and sending out a courtesy letter asking that they consider those two things.
Thank you very much, Madam City Manager. I noticed when I walked into council chambers today, I did see a couple of bottles of hand sanitizers. Are you having trouble getting these? Oh, even the city is. Okay, well, I think that letter would come in handy. All right, we'll call the question. Go ahead. Does somebody else have a comment?
Mr. Mayor, I have a quick question from City Attorney. As the Mayor had mentioned, asking for certain funds, are we as a council able to, when the funds come in, designate like for legal aid, rental assistance, and things of that nature if the feds give us money, federal?
So if we're looking at local FEMA money, it's for reimbursement of services that we need here in Daly City. So it's not a designation necessarily, it's for us to seek reimbursement or funds for those services.
Okay. Well, yeah. Just in case, we don't know, but because that's emergency funds, right?
That is correct. They're for emergency funds.
Thank you, City Attorney.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Madam City Manager?
Yeah, sorry, just one more clarification. I think it's important, though. For the emergency 120 hours of personal time off, or PTO, we are extending that to our part-time staff.
Ooh.
So it would be based on the average number of hours they would work in a pay period. But they are being extended, that PTO allotment.
Thank you, Madam City Manager. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, on to the question, is a declaration of the local emergency by the City Council of Daly City, that's one part, and then authorization of paid time off for all city employees at 120 hours, which could be increased upon the recommendation of our city manager without having to come back to council for approval.
That's correct.
Okay, motion's on the floor, and may I have a roll call, please?
Ms. DiGiovanni?
Councilmember Di Giovanni?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Ms. Manalo?
Aye.
Dr. Rod?
Aye.
Mr. Buenaventura?
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester?
Aye. Okay, the motion has passed. Thank you very much.
If I may add, Mr. Mayor, we are going to prepare this declaration tonight, if not tomorrow, for the members of the public to have and post it on the website by tomorrow.
Okay, according to the city attorney, this declaration will be worked on this evening, and it'll be posted on the Daly City website by tomorrow. Okay, we got item number 2 coming, and this is the rollover of the budget. I do want to make some comments because we're about to change subject right now. This time, we're going to talk about the budget. So basically, I just wanted to make some comments for staff here in the city and also our public. The Vice Mayor and I attended a call with the San Mateo County. They're having these calls every day, and mostly elected officials call in. I wanted to provide full and complete transparency and provide information that I received pertaining to San Mateo County, to which Daly City is a part of, on this call. First of all, in regards to the COVID-19 coronavirus, the Burlingame Hotel, they've talked to the owner, and they're looking to obtain 145 rooms for victims of coronavirus. 145 rooms in case it is needed. They are working on establishing a drive-through center at the event center in San Mateo where folks can just drive through and get tested. They're also going to look to expanding the communications and expanding their web network to get the information out. They are also speaking with business partners to see how they can assist. And I'm thinking maybe the hoarding aspect and talk to businesses. And then the question came up for the seniors, what can the CERT volunteers do? But most of our CERT volunteers are in upper age, so maybe it might be a thought where they can help deliver these items for our vulnerable seniors. So that's just a thought. There's been an exponential growth lately. San Mateo County is 2 weeks behind Italy. And to my understanding, Italy has 25,000 cases. That is why we need to work on this now. We're way far from that, but we're 2 weeks behind. There's not enough ventilators in San Mateo County, so they're working on trying to obtain more ventilators. They're asking folks not to panic. Maximum people at certain areas, self-isolate and shelter in place, and try to adhere to the 6 feet social distancing. Businesses that are not essential shall cease operations. All private gatherings of any number of people should be ceased. Travel will be limited, and it's a necessity to do so. However, if you're coming home from another country, you will be allowed back into the country. We need to start now. Our seniors are at risk, and Santa Clara is the epicenter of this virus. They are averaging close to 20 per day, and right now they have 1,000 cases. Essential activities, government activities, cities will determine the best judgment as needed. All jail, child protective services, law enforcement, they will determine what's best. Citizens can still participate in safety, sanitation needs, visit aging parents, or pick up kids. So if you have to do those things, go ahead and do it. Central businesses. Nonprofits that are non-essential will be ordered to close. If providing food, it's okay. The food supply chain shall remain open. Farmers market, Target, and etc., they shall not be impacted. Banks, utilities, garbage, hardware stores, laundries, all shall remain open. All restaurants, no dine-in, takeout services only. All businesses that does shipping, Amazon, UPS, shall remain intact. All forms of transportation, such as airline, Uber, taxis, to remain open. This new order came out, will be effective March 17th through April 7th. Oh, and incidentally, Stephen, one of your comments was the child care, I think it's preschool. Child care remains intact, but will be limited. So I have much more here, but I don't want to belabor this. I also have another document here as to, folks are confused as to what are essential businesses. So I just want to read off a couple of them, or a few of them. Healthcare operations, essential infrastructure. Oh, by the way, construction, government construction, like building new government buildings, that's essential. that shall remain open. Grocery stores, convenience stores, and the like. Pharmacies, healthcare supply stores, and healthcare facilities. Gas stations, auto supply, auto repair. Banks and other institutions. Garbage and sanitation services. Hardware stores, plumbers, electricians, exterminators, and the like. Laundromats and laundry service providers. Restaurants to deliver or carry out. Businesses that supply other businesses on this list with services and products. Businesses that deliver goods and services to residents. Child care facilities under conditions. Pharmaceutical, construction, food cultivation, and lastly, legal representation and tax preparation services to assist with legally mandated activities. So that's all I have at this particular time, and that was as a result of the conference call today. So I'm just putting that information out so that everybody can be aware of that. And those calls happen every day, Monday through Friday, through the county. Okay. Deb just left. He'll be right back.
Actually,
Okay.
this is a good opportunity, actually,
Okay, Madam
for
City Manager.
our Assistant to the City Manager, Stephen Stolte, to talk a little bit about the press release and just do the overview about that. And also, I think it's important to know that the City Managers Group is working very cohesively. And we spoke this morning as a group with the county manager about, once we get through the next few days, stabilizing things as best we can, forming a subcommittee so that we can really start talking about long-term goals for what government is going to look like once we get through that. So I just want to get the community feeling like we understand the magnitude of it, but there are real leaders that are looking at how to make this manageable.
Okay, great. Stephen?
Okay, so we are going to have a press release going out right after this meeting about the county health officer's new order, as well as changes to city operations. So you can find that on our website and social media after this meeting. But just to give you a highlight, this is a longer press release, and Mayor, you covered a lot of the topics on essential businesses and things like that. But I do kind of just want to go through and give an overview. The first is that 6 counties in the Bay Area are taking a unified step to slow the spread of COVID-19 and preserve critical healthcare capacity across the region. The counties that came together to issue this new order are San Mateo, Santa Clara, San Francisco, Marin, Alameda, and Contra Costa. You can read the full text of the order from Health Officer Dr. Scott Morrow on the county's website at www.smchealth.org/coronavirus. You can also read their press release there under updates. The main goals of the order are to mandate shelter in place at home for all residents, to prohibit all private and public social gatherings, prohibit all non-essential travel, implement widespread social distancing, and close all non-essential businesses with facilities in the 6-county area. Working from home for those businesses, however, is encouraged. The order allows for operation of essential businesses, and there's a long list of essential businesses like grocery stores and restaurants for delivery and takeout only, like you said, Mayor, gas stations, banks, auto repair, healthcare, hardware stores, transportation services. There's a long list. The county and city governments are really working together to limit the spread of COVID-19 by focusing on social distancing and sheltering at home. And by taking these steps, we can limit the spike in COVID-19 transmission and prevent our healthcare system from being overburdened. So this is a 3-week directive. It might continue longer, and you can read the full text online. I won't get into everything here, but really, I think the take-home message is that there's really no reason to panic. Access to food supplies and banking and gas and hardware stores and restaurants, it will all remain open because those are essential activities in our society. There's no need to hoard supplies, as these businesses are not subject to any closures. The intent of the health order is to limit gatherings and subsequent exposure and to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Furthermore, law enforcement and other emergency services all remain intact. it's just really important to remember that some individuals who contract COVID-19 have no symptoms or have mild symptoms, and they can transmit the disease without knowing it. So at this state in time, at this state in the emergency, it is essential to slow virus transmission as much as possible to protect the most vulnerable and to prevent the healthcare system from being overwhelmed. And the one proven way to do that is to limit interactions among people to the greatest extent practicable. And then just a little bit, you can read the list online of facilities and businesses that will remain open, but I do want to highlight what will happen in Daly City. And first is street sweeping will be suspended, just reiterating that. Garbage and recycling collection continues. All services within the planning, building, and code enforcement divisions will be suspended during this health order. No new services are being provided to the public, and in a similar way, North County Fire Authority is not accepting plans for review at this time. The Finance Department will continue to accept utility bill payments and business license payments in the Dropbox kiosk in the main parking lot of City Hall, while the rest of City Hall will remain closed to the public. The cashier will be closed. Business license questions and past due licenses can be addressed by phone or email only. All recruitments for new hires with the Human Resource Department are halted for now. All libraries are closed. All community centers are closed. The senior lunch programs at 2 of our facilities are continuing, but changes are being made to how those lunches are provided, even more changes than already implemented. All city facility reservations are canceled through the end of April. That is new from our last message from the mayor. And the Department of Public Works will continue to offer prioritized public services. Staff will be out there responding to traffic-related infrastructure like traffic signals and street lights, illegal dumping, and hazards in the roadway. All work not related to public safety, though, is suspended. Staff will continue to respond to public safety hazards in parks and playgrounds, perform litter and debris removal, and limited maintenance tasks. And then finally, the Department of Water and Wastewater Resources will continue to respond to service requests and perform all necessary duties, but their main office will be closed to the public. Really, we just want to stress that all residents have to comply with the full county health officer order. It's available on their website, and that everyone please take the COVID-19 pandemic seriously and shelter in place at home until further notice. The more we all shelter at home, the more we can reduce the spike in cases of COVID-19 and help our healthcare system.
Thank you, Mr. Solti. Okay. We'll move on to the next item number 2, unless there's any comments from my colleagues. All right, well, item number 2, and that is the approval of the continuation of adopted fiscal year 2020 operating and capital budget for the fiscal year 2021. I'm sorry, I called you Mr. High earlier. It's Mr. Birch. All right, sir.
Sir.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. This is Tim Birch, Deputy Director of the Department of Finance and Administrative Services. Perfect timing. Excuse me. What you have before you is an agenda report, and the subject of the agenda report is to continue the current fiscal year budget into the next fiscal year. Basically, the reason that we're bringing this to council with a request for a resolution is there are 2 things that we're trying to work on in these rather unique times. First is we want to make sure that the budget process allows a great deal of transparency, as it always has, and we were actually looking forward to providing even more transparency this year as far as the budget goes. And secondly, with the restrictions that we'll be placing upon staff, the capacity of staff to perform the kind of budget work that needs to be performed in earnest is extremely limited. So really what we're asking to do is to take the current year budget and extend it into the next fiscal year. This will allow us to be able to move deliberately and appropriately when the time comes to make changes to the appropriations requested of council in coordination with council priorities that have been set earlier this calendar year. If I may, I have a very quick PowerPoint presentation. There's just a few slides that will hopefully help to answer some of the anticipated questions that we've discussed. So if I may really quickly. First of all, and I apologize if not everyone can see this under our unusual circumstances, but two of the things that people may be wondering about, number one, of course, what does it mean to roll over a budget? And essentially what we're talking about with an annual operating budget, when we're rolling it over, we're just really saying in simplistic terms, we're taking our current budget and extending it into the next fiscal year. I also understand that there are probably going to be questions from a number of stakeholders about labor costs and other operating costs. And it's important to understand that changes to labor costs based on current and anticipated City Council approved employee compensation enhancements, and these include MOUs, will be incorporated into the budget. Other operating costs, such as, contract increases with vendors for services that we need to contract for, as well as for capital projects, those items will be analyzed and necessary changes approved by the city manager. And finally, approval to update the rolled over budget is formalized by resolution from the city council. So I'm going to stop right here and see if there are any questions at this moment before I move to the next slide.
Any questions thus far for Mr. Birch from my colleagues? Okay, Mr. Birch, please proceed.
Thank you very much, sir. The second and last slide is specific to public safety positions. What I think is important to note here is that the current budget already includes the additional fire battalion chief that was approved as a planning chief in the current fiscal year, and the 3 additional firefighter positions that have been approved in the current fiscal year for the 4th position on Truck 95 are also included in the current budget, and those positions will all continue because they're already in the budget. As far as police goes, we've already begun the process of unfreezing the positions that are 2 frozen police sergeant and 8 frozen police officer positions. These are already included in the baseline operating budget for the next 2 fiscal years. And updating this rolled over budget to formalize this unfreezing process merely requires a resolution from council. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Birch. Okay, any questions from my colleagues, council members? Okay, I don't have any questions as well. So I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the continuation of the adopted fiscal year 2020 operating and capital budget for year 2021.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I just have one quick question.
yes, go ahead. Councilmember Di Giovanni.
Yeah, I apologize. First of all, thank you, Mr. Birch, for answering the questions during the interim and stuff. I really appreciate it, and the clarification from the city manager as well. On the last paragraph of page 2, which I have full confidence in our city manager and yourself as well, which I would assume you'll be the designated representative in that paragraph to authorize direct any consistent conformity changes or transfers of appropriations with any city department and from one department to another if she deems necessary or flexible under circumstances existing. So that would be continuing through the year, or is it just through while we're doing the pandemic? For that direction.
It would be through the fiscal year, 12 months.
For the fiscal year,
right.
So that if something came up, then and so this is not going to be something that'll be continuum. That will be apprised of.
Thank you very much for your question, Councilmember. This is Tim Birch again. So the language that you're referring to, that second paragraph, that is directly from every budget resolution that is normally passed. That is part of the normal process. This particular language is reflected whenever we go through the normal budget process.
Correct. Okay, that's fine. But council is usually at least apprised of what changes are happening, correct?
Correct. That is correct.
Yeah, because I thought that, usually that, I thought that with other cities that it comes before the council to make any changes.
If I may, so the changes that's within the authority of the city manager are changes that were consistent and necessary as it pertains to this budget. So my understanding is you are approving a budget with giving the city manager some leeway and some authority, but also my understanding is that there was a report out at the end of the year to do a true-up for what expenditures have already been expended as a result of the approved budget.
Okay, just, particularly for this budget, and then we'll be able to figure out other, I think we were going to work on other things, I guess, revenue rules or whatever we're going to do later. Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure that we're apprised, even though I have full faith that, it'll be in good hands. I just want to be, like, if we are still in the loop to see what is going on. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Birch and the City Manager and Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, council member. Any other comments from any other council member? All right, so at this time, I have no further comments. We'll call the roll, please. Oh, no, we need a motion. I'll entertain the motion.
Motion to approve and adopt fiscal year 2020 operating capital budget for fiscal year 2021. Roll over.
Motion by Councilmember DiGiovanni. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Rod. Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Aye.
Ms. Manalo,
Aye.
Dr. Rod,
Aye.
Mr. Buenaventura,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester.
Aye. Okay, the motion passes. Thank you very much, Mr. Birch. Okay, are there any additional public appearances, communications, staff communications? Okay, hearing none. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, council members, for taking part in this meeting amidst a few problems, but we all are resilient and we work through it. I'd like to thank staff as well, and I wish you that you have a great evening, a better tomorrow, and stay healthy. This meeting is now adjourned. Okay.